again. Hopefully we're starting to get fairly comfortable with equivalent fractions by now. Equivalent fractions are two fractions that are the same or equal to each other. We're ready to move on to something a little bit trickier. I've got up here, just to remind us, the work that we've already done. I've got, remember my pizza, where we learnt that 1/2 was the same as 3/6, those fractions are equivalent, and we learnt that 8/24 was equivalent to 1/3, so the bar of chocolate was broken up into 24 squares and 8 of those was the same as one column. I want to move on now to thinking about fractions not just as parts of a whole, but as parts of a group. I have here 30 raspberries. And I can take these 30 raspberries and I can split it into 5. I can make fifths. Perfect. Now I have my group of raspberries split into fifths. I have 1/5 has 6 raspberries in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1/5 of 30 equals 6. But splitting it up into fifths isn't the only way I could split it up. I could also split it up into 10 groups. I could make tenths. That would look like this. Now I've split it up into 10 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've made tenths. And we can see that 1/10 is 3 raspberries. 1, 2, 3. So 1/10 is 3. And we're talking about equivalent fractions. So if I take 2/10 here, 1/10, 2/10, and put them together, I get my 6 raspberries again. That's the same as 1/5. So if I put them all back together, put it back into fifths, I'm putting 2/10 together to make 1/5. 2/10 is equivalent to 1/5. It's always a little bit more confusing when we start working with fractions of a group of things rather than fractions of one thing, but I think it's really important when we think about equivalent fractions to bear that in mind as well. I'm going to take our raspberries example and draw it up on the board. So, hopefully you're still with me. In this picture, I have 30 dots arranged into 5 groups, 5 rows. And I've taken one row, 1/5, and coloured them in, and I've got 6. And in this picture, I've got 30 dots arranged into tenths. So I've got 10 rows, 30 arranged into 10 groups. And I've coloured in 2 rows, so I've coloured in 2/10, and I've still got 6 dots. So that shows us that 1/5 and 2/10 are equivalent. They are the same.